and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow. You're watching this brand new season 11 of India's longest running show for small businesses. I'm Sunanda Jayaseelan. I'm here at the G20 offices in New Delhi with the newly appointed Sherpa of the G20, none other than Mr. Amitabh Kant, speaking to him about digitization, speaking to him about urbanization, his views on inclusivity, the SDG goals, the opportunities for entrepreneurs, and most importantly, his ideas for a new India. Listen in. India scripted a historical way forward by assuming the G20 presidency on the 1st of December 2022. As a country committed to democracy and multilateralism, India's G20 presidential tenure will be a watershed moment in its history. Initiatives like Make in India, Digital India and Startup India have already delivered rich dividends. With the credo of the world is one family, today the world looks at India with positivity and promise, a promise to be the catalyst for global change. The 21st century is India's century for the taking. Joining us today is a public policy expert, former CEO of NITI Aayog, and India's G20 Sherpa, Amitabh Kant, who will edify, educate, and enthrall us on how India is on the cusp of exacting global change. Such a pleasure having you with us on this launch of the Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11, India's longest running show for small businesses. We, of course, have had the pleasure, Mr. Kant, of having you join us in previous years, speaking directly with India's entrepreneurs on the show. And I want to start by discussing the big picture, really, as far as what's happening in the country today, and talk about those ideas that you feel are going to change life as we know it for India's small businesses. We're talking about India and in India for small businesses and the ideas for this new India here on Times Network. And my question to you, sir, first is perhaps those two or three things that you feel are really going to change things for small businesses. What are those ideas for new India according to you?
So thanks. Great pleasure being with you on this phenomenal show. I'm truly delighted, and to my mind, there are 3 or 4 critical changes that are taking place. One is that we are growing rapidly. We're growing at about 7%. The challenge is to even accelerate the pace far more. We need to grow at higher rates of 9 to 10% year after year for 3 decades or more. And this would require us to do several things. First of all, we are throwing up a lot of data. Digitization has happened in this country. We are all doing fast payments. All of us have digital identity. Therefore, we need to use the vast amount of data that we are generating for artificial intelligence and machine learning. Every single entity, every single business, every single institution must become an institution of AI and machine learning. That's critical. That'll give you the competitive edge. That's number one. Number two, it's very, very important to go green. The world tomorrow is going to put in border tariffs for green products. MSMEs must be very clear that they're not making only for the domestic market, they're making for the world. Whatever you produce, produce for the world, and the world is going to go green. And therefore, you need to ensure that your products are based on going green, your products are sustainable, they use renewable energy and cleaner forms of energy, and that will help you to penetrate global markets as you go along. Thirdly, it's very important to understand that India is going to throw up a lot of more people in the middle class. India is going to urbanize rapidly. You will see 500 million people getting into the process of urbanization. The size of middle class will grow and expand in a very big way. And therefore, whatever you produce, you look at where your products will be consumed by the middle class. And the fourth very important point which is happening, which many people have not realized, is that there are more women than men in India today. There are 1,078 women to 1,000 men today in India. And therefore, you will you'll see a lot of women consumers in the days to come. We've seen this with bank accounts. We've seen this in a range of areas. You'll see a lot of women consumers in the days to come. You'll see women for financial inclusion. You'll see women in leadership position. And therefore, whatever business you do, clearly look at women as a very major consumer of your product.
So I want to talk about something, of course, which is top of mind, taken all the headlines, and that's, of course, the G20. And I want to congratulate you on being announced as the Sherpa really of G20. So I want to start by asking you what perhaps your tenure is really going to mean for you, and what India, assuming now the presidency really of G20, what that is going to mean for us as a country.
So these are very challenging times. The challenging times because you have a geopolitical crisis in Europe. There's a war, really. And you've seen 200 million people going below the poverty line as a consequence of COVID. We have challenges of climate action, climate finance. You have a challenge of 75 countries facing a global debt crisis. And many, many challenges right now. There's a challenge of fuel, food, fertilizer, as far as the world is concerned. All these are major challenges. India takes over the presidency in the midst of all these challenges, and every challenge can be an opportunity. Our priorities would really be to drive very sustainable and inclusive growth over a long period of time. It would be to ensure that we are able to push the sustainable development goals as far as education, health, nutrition are concerned, so that people who've got impacted due to COVID, we are able to get them back into the work stream. It'll be our objective to push for climate action and climate finance, which is very critical, which the developed world had committed to in 2009 and have not lived up to. We'll focus on having institutions, multilateral institutions for the 21st century, so that they are able to then provide credit enhancement, blended finance, many other things for other countries. And we'll push for digital transformation, which is a very major narrative of India because of the digital public infrastructure that we've built up. And we'll push for what the Prime Minister has termed as women-led development.
I was just reading, and it's in the news over the past few days what is happening in Germany, and I want to talk, and you were talking about the climate crisis. I'm just finishing up reading Greta Thunberg's book, where she's really talking about what's happening with the environment and why it's such a crisis and why no one's talking about it. How many more Greta Thunbergs do you perhaps foresee are going to be required if you're going to see actionable change when it comes to the climate crisis?
So it's important to understand that if you were to look at the total carbon space available at 1.5 degree, most of that space has been occupied by the developed world. When they were industrializing, they've carbonized and industrialized. The challenge for a country like India, we've not responsible for polluting the world. We're not responsible for carbonizing the world. But the challenge is to become the first country in the world to industrialize without carbonizing. And we've achieved our NDC targets 9 years ahead of schedule. We have now launched the green hydrogen mission, which will enable us to decarbonize hard to abate sectors like refinery, like fertilizer, like steel, or long distance transport. And there is a massive business opportunity for MSMEs in all these areas of renewables, of pump storage, of a massive opportunity in the field of green hydrogen, completely for manufacturing of electrolyzers, for storage, for pumping, huge opportunities in this completely new area that India is getting into. The challenge for India is that by 2047, we should be completely, by the time we turn 100, we should stop $200 billion worth of fossil imports that we do. We should be all doing through renewable energy. We are climatically blessed. Our entrepreneurship is top class in India. And we should use this entrepreneurship really to become the production hub, the export hub, the manufacturing hub of electrolyzer for green hydrogen for all over the world. We should be the least cost producer of green hydrogen.
I'm going to take a quick break. On that note, we're going to continue this conversation with Amitabh Kant on the other side. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Our big interview tonight is with none other than G20 Sherpa, Amitabh Kant. We're seeing a lot of conversations around, green mobility and electric mobility. Do you feel that's enough?
Oh, that's a huge opportunity. It's a huge opportunity for not only two-wheelers, three-wheelers, because in India, 85% of the vehicles are two-wheelers, three-wheelers. So how do you turn them green? You need batteries, and therefore battery manufacturing. Thirdly, swapping of batteries. Fourthly, when you have batteries, you need to recycle them. So recycling opportunities. All these are huge, huge opportunities for India. Then battery charging, with charging stations, are massive opportunities. This is an area of growth which is unstoppable. So all these are huge areas of growth. Imagine in a country where you need by 2030 every single vehicle to go green. That's a massive, massive opportunity for us. And that's what it opens ourselves to a great young enterprise.
We started this conversation by you saying digitization really is going to be this massive opportunity. ChatGPT is dominating headlines as we speak. My question to you is, and you spoke about this as well, that the opportunity lies outside of your metros. You concentrate on the tier 3, tier 4. How much of this digitization is going to really impact what is happening in these areas? Because you're talking also about entrepreneurs, a lot of whom don't even have something as basic as a website. Reports done about 2-3 years ago showed that nearly 60% of India's MSMEs didn't have something as basic as a website. So we're talking about this target audience. How is this digitization in technology going to really be impacting these areas?
So how did we leapfrog in, ensuring that our payment system or identity system or bank accounts, all of them. I mean, imagine between 2015 and 2018, 55% of the bank accounts were all opened in India. Of all the bank accounts across the world, 55% were opened in India. We've done digital identity for everybody. Today we do digital payments. We do 11x of what USA and Europe do. We do 3.5x of what China does. So we have technologically leapfrogged in all these areas. And my view is that in all these tier 2, tier 3, there's a massive, massive opportunity to pole vault really, to wherever we are, make the quantum jump forward towards AI and machine learning. That is the future, and that is what every Indian must do now.
In speaking about women and the opportunity that the women demographic really presents for small businesses, you spoke about financial inclusivity. And I want to talk about funding and finance for India's small businesses. I know, till recently you very closely looked at India's small entrepreneur base. I know small businesses are very close to your heart. How can funding to these businesses be improved? Because you do have schemes like the CGT, MSE, but access to some of these, information to some of these schemes, that still seems to be lacking.
So one is you have the Mudra scheme where about 70% of the loans are flowed to women actually. Then you have a range of lending schemes from financial institutions where the government is giving the first loss guarantees or doing credit enhancement, and that's enabling a lot of resources to flow in. It's not that there is a shortage of schemes. Yeah. There's a poverty of good applicants rather than good lack of schemes. And therefore, schemes are not fully being tapped into. And my suggestion to all your viewers are that please look into the existing government schemes. Please look into the existing schemes of all your financial institutions. And you will have a plethora of schemes which need to be tapped into for this, including SIDBI's Fund of Funds, which supports startups in India. So huge range of activities which are available right now.
So groups like the Business 20, which closely look at entrepreneurs, small businesses, India Inc. really, the role of groups like this when it comes to just promoting more and more entrepreneurship in the country, what do you have to say?
Well, I think it's a very critical role. Business 20 is a great opportunity because G20 is about government, it's about policies, it's about working in partnership with countries. But Business 20 is about business driving business, making India an integral part of global supply chain, becoming productively more efficient. The challenge for our MSMEs is that they must become more and more efficient. They can't become more and more productively efficient without digitizing. They should think global. They should penetrate global markets. Without thinking global, you can't do that. They should think green, because without doing that, you will not be able to export in future. And therefore, these are the key challenges which are very, very important for all of us. And Business 20 will provide you that environment to be able to do that. Business 20 is about making India an integral part of global supply chain.
We were speaking about education. One of the other SDG goals, of course, is health. There's a lot of work which is happening in the health tech space. For the first time ever, we saw a health tech company acquire a listed company in the health space. I'm talking, of course, about Farm Easy and Dr. Velumani's startup. But my question to you is, again, is this reaching the masses? What are the opportunities for entrepreneurs who are looking at health and saying, this is where I should be putting my money, perhaps?
So, there are two things that's happening in the health space. One is that we are the pharmacy of the world. We are the vaccine capital of the world. We've tried to converge Ayurveda and yoga with our advanced medicine. But all this opens up huge opportunities, because we've been also able to provide health insurance to 500 million Indians, which is all paperless, cashless, through Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, PMJY. And now is the opportunity really for the private sector to take off. And you'll see a range of private sector companies doing path-breaking work in the field of health. Health tech will be the area of the future. And they'll do a lot of innovative work. You'll see a lot of small-scale hospitals coming up. Low cost. We've made our medical sector very, very expensive. So you need low-cost, good-quality hospitals, 100-bedded, in all Tier 2, Tier 3 cities of India. I think there will be a massive movement towards providing good lab facilities, towards providing good hospital facilities, towards providing great testing facilities, and you'll see a massive movement towards good health movement through the private sector in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, and you'll see a number of startups using technology to leapfrog in the coming days. Okay.
Two other things that I do want to discuss in today's interview, not related to the SDG goals, but specific to small businesses. One, of course, is PLI. In previous year budgets, in last year's budget as well, small businesses said lower the threshold for PLI because small businesses can't really participate. What are you hoping to see by way of changes in PLI? What's your solution really to India's small businesses when it comes to the PLI scheme?
So PLI was meant to get the size and scale. It's not for, it was not designed for MSMEs. So if you are able to produce global champions from India, they will obviously do the component manufacturing from MSMEs. There's a backward integration. You can't design everything for MSME. There's a whole range of other schemes. But the intention was to create global champions here. If you are able, and they must enhance their production year after year, year after year, year after year, for 5 years in a row. And once they do that, they'll be able to penetrate global markets, but they can't do it on their own. Somebody needs to make components for them. That the MSMEs will do. That was the objective.
My last question to you is really on manufacturing, and manufacturing is so vast. But any lessons that we've learned perhaps from the pandemic about manufacturing for the domestic market? Also reports suggesting that we're perhaps now the most populous country in the world. So the opportunity has just become perhaps larger. What's your advice?
No, so what it has demonstrated is that we are capable of manufacturing, we are capable of doing it efficiently, we are capable of doing it to global scale, we are capable of doing it to low costs. And therefore, at least in areas where there's huge possibility of manufacturing, where goods do not go in as a component of exports. I mean, look at toys, look at furniture, all these we should manufacture domestically. There's no point in importing goods which we can make at home. And all these products should be manufactured domestically. We should import those items which are an integral component of our exports, so that we are then able to be a part of global supply chain. But the end products, the consumer end products, should be made totally in India. I am of the great belief that will give you the size and scale of manufacturing.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you. Great pleasure.
That's all we could put into tonight's conversation, but do stay tuned. We have exciting conversations and the most insightful to help you, the small business, succeed and thrive in today's environment. That's it for tonight. Thanks for watching.